Hello everybody, this is Frogman and welcome back to Levitated. We've been having a little bit of fun last couple episodes playing around with some Britannia kind of style stuff, and we managed to get ourselves a Lunium built so that we could get the Creeper data model, the Skeleton data model, the Spider data model, and the Zombie data model who is in here or was in here running. He's now a superior. Which means I need to run it a whole lot more, but that's pretty awesome because now that means I pretty much have a dead set way of making iron and things for as long as I feel like. Because of the fact we have that rotten flesh sitting over there, we can now just make iron out of pretty much nothing. And why do I have a bunch of iron dust in here? That's interesting. But if I look right here, we have this recipe, which now means that I don't have to worry about messing around with iron. I just have to keep this up and occasionally have to do a couple of things. So that's really cool. The next one I'm going to run through that is I need to run the skeleton through it a little while and a couple of other things. So we're going to talk about some of the stuff that I did do in between episodes, because we're going to have to start utilizing some of this stuff fairly soon to be able to keep our deep learning system or the mob grinding utilities stuff moving forward. Soon we will be building a room full of simulation chambers and loot fabricators running these various models, because we're going to need to be able to start capitalizing off of that mod. And in doing so, that means I need to be able to craft something fairly simple. Now, there's several ways to do it. We may end up using the Clayconia, we may end up using something else. But the big problem with that mess is clay. We're just going to kind of look at this very quickly because we don't need to worry about it right now. We can craft clay like as such, or we can craft clay, I believe, in a fashion. I think that's all we can do right now other than a couple other things. Or if you place sand down next to this thing, this little Clayconia, you will get a piece of sand, which is totally automatable. Sand is automatable through a Britannia, through, I believe it's this pool right here. So we may end up doing a kind of a magical style production of that here very shortly. Right now I'm not really worried about it because I'm trying to let the mana pools fill back up again. So let's talk about this very quickly. Last episode I showed you guys this little thing, and it's just a little kind of thing going on here, not doing a whole lot. What it's doing is we're finally getting to that point where we're able to automate this thing decently well. So I've gone ahead and done that. Geez, come on, really? What state are you from? I have gone ahead and automated it the way that I want to automate it for the most part in time. Like I said, last episode we had to make the slice and splice so that we could make the Z-Logic controllers, so we could make the advanced item filters, so we could do a thing. So in each one of these interfaces, and I'm going to shut you off so I don't have to listen to you while we're over here. That should be the last one of those. In every one of these conduit connectors on these sides here, we have a limited item filter. And I wanted these specifically for the fact that there's no absolute point in keeping more than a stack in these. There's no point in keeping any more than a couple really in here. You really only need to keep about 4 or 5, maybe 8 at max of each type of food item in your droppers, because you're timing everything, you're being careful, so you need to make sure that you can keep things fed, and as long as you can keep things full, you're fine. So we do have limited item filters in every single one of these interfaces or these connectors that are connected to these droppers on both sides, so we're just keeping a little bit of stuff. Again, you could just load them full if you want to. You could use the automated user, I think. We can use these guys as well, which you could then just tell it to only keep one thing and then fill the rest of the... It's just another one of those things. These are more expensive than a dropper, so I'm not really worried. It even takes a dropper to make the thing, so we're doing all of that fun stuff just because I'm trying to be kind of savvy on things. However, what we are doing is, of course, we have our round robin set up here. Everything is running across a few different directions, and we're keeping an ender chest sitting right here with a stack, stocked with a stack of bread and a stack of baked potatoes. And if you look at it, the runtime is almost approximately the same. I think if anything, the bread may be just slightly better than the baked potatoes. It's just a little minor thing here, so we're timing the whole system based on how long it takes one of those Gormalaeus to eat the bread. So now what they do is as we know, right here, we're using this hovering hourglass to switch an animated torch back and forth between a green channel and a red channel, which then fires the different independent sets of droppers to feed our Gormalaeus so that they can eat. Now, let me turn this back on so it can go back to work, because we're getting close to being kind of full. I'm going to start using some of this stuff fairly soon. So that should go ahead and reset. There you go. and then they'll go back to work. Cool. Now, we are constructing the wheat and the potatoes in 2 separate locations. The wheat, or should say the bread, is being constructed down here. Now, since this system, this XNet system, has access to the bottom of our storage via the storage controller, the drawer controller over there, I can pull items out of that thing and bring it over here. And I brought it over here because it's quiet. I didn't want a noisy thing underneath my my workshop area. So basically what we're doing is we're using the controller that is using for the power over there, or running the power, pulling a, let's see, we're basically pulling wheat out of the system, putting it in this pulverizer, which has got a reinforced upgrade and 2 auxiliary reception coil upgrades. I went ahead and did that as much as I needed to, thinking that maybe we would have a problem, but you know, it's just slightly faster than it needs to be, and that's all I care about. So we're taking the wheat, we're grinding it up into some flour. The flour is then being pushed into this furnace from Extra Utilities, has a couple of speed upgrades, and it is making the bread, which is then being pushed via transfer pipe into the ender chest. And again, I'm trying to limit the amount of stuff we have hanging out. There's no reason for this thing to fill that ender chest up full of stuff, and I just don't really feel like fighting with it, so we're using a transfer filter with a single stack setting in it, and we can, I went ahead and filtered the bread just to make sure that this wasn't trying to read the fact that there are technically 2 stacks in here, so I don't want it to be silly. I'm using transfer nodes mainly because that will allow us to have 1, 2, 3 sets of stuff in here. So it's one of those, I could easily have just done this with the Ender IO conduit. I could have just not even cared and figured out a way to keep it from overrunning everything. But that way, at least, should we run out of one of these, that way we won't have a chest full of one or the other. So let's go upstairs, and I gotta go there, right? There, that one. Okay. The other automation is happening up here since our potatoes are right there. We're just pumping potatoes into this furnace, and this furnace is then doing the thing that it needs to do by doing the exact same thing. We have a little transfer filter, transfer pipe, transfer outlet, transfer node, and then it just does the exact same thing that we had going on. Now, I'm using these guys mainly because they're fast enough and they're cheaper. And this is just one of those things where I don't need to be using a massive amount of power or a massive amount of just resources. Like we could have used a redstone furnace, which is right there. And this is roughly considerably more expensive than what this thing actually is. So if we look at a furnace, it's mainly just some bricks with a machine block. So it is kind of expensive right here as far as the extra utilities machine blocks, or these things here. However, once you start looking at the augments and the upgrades and the things that it takes to get a furnace to actually run that fast, or as fast as this thing runs with 2 speed upgrades in it, it gets kind of expensive. So I did use a pulverizer on this system here for a reason. So if we're looking to try to make flour, type the correct thing. If you're looking to try to make just flour, you're either going to have to use a quartz grindstone or a pulverizer. There's an offhand chance that a sag mill will again will end up giving you seeds back, and that's not necessarily what I want. Even though we have an ability to pump the seeds back up to the top, there's no reason to hang on to them. So that's how we're doing that. Those should be relatively decently automated for the time being. I may extend that through the ceiling. We may knock the ceiling out and make this another couple tall. It's just that once we get about this high, I have to start using we have to start using things like potency lenses and velocity lenses to try to get that one mana spreader to empty before the other ones do, so that technically the one in the middle is the slow one. This is the one I'm balancing my time off of, is how quickly this one can get emptied. So once you get to a point where you're a certain height over things, we'll have to move this pool up in the air, and I'm not really wanting to do that right now. So everything else seems to be functional. We're filled up relatively nicely. We're going to have to figure out some redstone control for this eventually, because I don't want to be wasting the food, and I don't want to be wasting the red coal that's sitting over here, even though that red coal's technically free and doesn't even really exist in this world because it's just coming out of the trees downstairs, so it works fine either way. So what we're going to need to do, I think, for the rest of the episode is I want to start working on some of the other stuff. And some of that other stuff is going to be, we need to kind of start working on this section down here. And I think I might have mentioned that beforehand. We need to start looking at trying to get the production of a little bit more power going on, as well as getting this simulation started just for the general idea. We're going to have to eventually work through every single one of the generators in extra utilities so that we can craft the rainbow in a box to make uranium blocks into rainbow stones, into doing things so that we can get to the next portal. So we're going to have to look at this. Plus, this is a really, really good way of making a lot of power. Unfortunately, the thing is the simulation here, this quantum simulation takes almost, well, it's a funny number. It's 6,666 RF a tick to run. It's, yep, okay, cute, whatever. We all think it's kind of funny, but however, we're going to have to get that done because we need to be able to make nether stars so that we can eventually take the nether stars and trade them into the elves and do some stuff. So this is also what's holding us up for the possible ability to be able to have creative flight, both through either Britannia or through extra utilities. So I think what I want to work on today is I want to go ahead and spawn and kill all of the withers that we need in order to be able to get this data model up to a basic data model, which means we have to kill one and then stick a nether star in, craft another star with a blank data model and then kill 3 more. So we have to kill 4 withers today in order to be able to automate the process of creating both the wither essence as well as, I think that's going to be extra. I forget what that one gives me. Is that nether stuff? It's this one, right? No, that's extraterrestrial matter. That's lovely. But anyhow, this is going to get us this kind of stuff, which will allow us to get nether stars pretty much continuously. And if we look at the Netherstar Generator, I think anybody that's probably messed with this at this point, I don't know if it'll show me how much it is. Yes. It's going to take 2 generators to run it's going to take 2 generators to be able to run that simulation, but that simulation, once it gets sorted and figured out, should be able to pretty much sustain itself after a while, so that if we do need to be able to keep things moving, we can. We're going to have to start looking at being able to take care of all of the extra, if I can start spelling plays, extra utilities generators. Somehow, some way, we're going to have to start automating all of this stuff fairly soon so that we can start looking at other little problems. We're going to have to get the rainbow generator running. Where is it? Look it up. Rainbow generator. Where did it go? It is that dude right there. Rainbow generator is required of the assembler controller to make this work. We also have to take the top and the bottom half and then run it through. This is another one of those things you should have already by now gotten into that point with pneumatic craft. So I don't understand the point in running it through a handcrafted system in order to do this. But again, it is one of those things kind of thing that it is what it is. So let's go see about building let's see what we can do about building a reinforced obsidian wither cage so that we can keep him somewhat contained. And we are sure as heck not going to do it here. And we're going to have to do a couple other things to make it a little bit more happy too. I think I have enough, and I was going to toss this in here so that it'll auto process. I still need to do something with this. And why does it look like I'm out of lava again? I don't know. I hope we didn't chunk load it, or I forgot to not to chunk load it. Let's see. Nether roof. We'll check this very quickly. Are you broken? I really wish there was an easier way to tell whether that thing was working or not without staring at it for a half a minute. It looks like it's going down. It's just being slow. It should have already run by now, but okay. Whatever, we'll not worry about that later. We have plenty of other things to do. I did kind of do a little bit of reading and kind of found out that supposedly you can shoot mana bursts through a nether portal, which is interesting. I wondered if it'll go through these other special portals. We're going to attempt to build him on either the top or the bottom of this thing, mainly because of the fact that this counts as a wither-proof block. The the bedrock that's here. So I'm going to hope I made too much at this point. I just want to make sure that we can make a reasonably decent spot to spawn said withers. So we're going to move over here. Maybe we'll move over a little further, because I really don't want him blowing things up. I was going to do it in a fancy kind of silly way, but I think at this point all we need to do is just kill it. The problem is as a player, I have to kill the thing. So we can't really have something else kill it for us. So let's pick all this stuff up. I want to move it as far away from my current platform and processing abilities, capabilities spot as we can. So let's run over here a ways and just hope that it doesn't try to hit my stuff. So let's see. I usually try to build them kind of small. See, normally the bottom of this would be made out of the reinforced obsidian. They don't need to be very big. So that's plenty of space. That's mainly just so that it doesn't... You want enough space so that it doesn't suffocate while it's spawning, because if it suffocates, it starts getting really annoying, and there's a possibility it can get out. So I want to make this thing about 3 tall inside interior. I made way too much of this stuff, and that's amazing. Okay. And then we'll do this, and we'll do this. And I think for just sake, I'm going to put one there, 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 and there. And then I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to put one underneath every one of those blocks as well. Now, I don't think very seriously it's going to get out. The whole point is I'm going to go ahead and fill that side up so that anything that gets blasted that direction shouldn't end up hitting any of our stuff. But this is kind of to try to mitigate some of the skulls flying out of the top of this thing, because he will spawn and then, you know, kind of bounce upwards. Actually, I think we may. I hope we have enough space. We'll find out. Either way, I just need him to die. So let's go ahead and spawn us a wither. Let's put on our gear. I went ahead and upgraded all that stuff, or at least I should say enchanted it all with protection 4 and unbreaking. I put the mending on it because we had the mending, even though the mending doesn't really matter because the mana tablet that is in our inventory will do all that work. So I want to put this over out the way. And I want to make sure that I shouldn't need anything else in here. That's magma skin. Magma skin, we should be good to go. I'll bring one of those, even though I do believe these are going to do just about the same amount. This shouldn't take much. We're just going to have to be really, really, really careful that we don't have a silly problem with him. So let's see. I needed that, and that. Is there anything else I want? I don't think so. We have our sword. Let's go see about trying to kill this guy. So let's see. Same old thing. Oh, and yeah, options, music and sounds. Turn that all the way down. Oh, come on. Put it down. And let's go. I guess I could shoot him with a bow a couple of times. That wouldn't hurt anything, huh? Just get it over with. Ow. Yay, awesome. Now, you got to be really careful with that, because if he wanted to get out, he could have gotten out through that block, because I don't have another block up here. So let me do this really quickly. I'm going to grab that one block. Actually, I had 2 already. Put that back. Put that back. I am going to do one more thing. Where is that rod? Let's do this. Whoop. I want to put that right on top just so he can't get out. That way he shouldn't be able to get out. And actually, if you take the block that's out right here, it won't try to suffocate, so it's fine. I just want it to die. Again, so now we take that Netherstar and we craft it with that blank data model. Yay, now we have a faulty data model. So we need to put that in our deep learner and put this over here and kill a couple more of these guys. So hopefully this doesn't go too terribly wrong. And more skeleton skulls. Thank you. Get out, please. All right. Get rid of this dude. Ow. Ow. And done. And I get to do that 2 more times. I'm bringing this stuff and I'm not even using it. I love it. That's all right. We got lots of hearts. Whole lot of hearts. Come on. Thank you. Keep an eyeball on your hearts. Oh, I'm so glad I made that sword. I would have had to kill him 6 times. Here, have one of these. And then have one of those. One more time. What do we got? Come on. Let's go. There you go. That sword does a nice job of taking care of him, though. Yay! And that'll be the last time I use this thing, and we are now at what? What are we now? 19, almost 20% attack damage. That's cool. I really should sit down and fool with that thing quite a bit, because they will really ramps up after a little while. It starts getting really good. So cool. That means we can take this now. I mean, I guess I could kill a few more of them, but we don't need to. Let's see. I need to put this and this back on. Cool. And then we can go back over to the base. And didn't even need that. That's okay. It can stay right there in case I think I ever just feel like killing another one again. But let's take a run job back over to the base. And hopefully should be able to build something relatively simply cool called a Netherstar Generator. And now that I can't hear anything, let's turn this back up. That'll work. I think I already had most of that turned down as it was. All right, cool. Let's put that away, that away, that away. I have 3 of those plus a little bit of graves dust, and I didn't need any of that. Well, I used 1, I will say that, so that's fine. Let's put a bunch of this away here. Toot, doot, 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 doot. Yes. Cool, and you can go away too. All right, so now we need to take this, and we need to go ahead and craft. Can I make any? Do I have any sand on me right now? I do. Cool. Let's go make just a little bit of clay. This is the thing we need to do, is we need to start working on this now, because this is going to be the problem. This is going to be the thing we're going to have to kind of keep up with. Now, I can, for that matter, automate this with the leftovers that are coming out of that thing. And for that matter, we may do it that way. Maybe. But now I think at this point, the only thing I can't do to craft this is lapis. Right? Is there any other way to get lapis? No. I don't think so. Yeah, we could do that. Nah, we'll worry about it later. Let's go stick this dude in here, understanding the fact that it's literally going to take up every little bit of power that we have, which is fine, because that's how we play the game. We'll put this in here and let him run. And then that's going to sit there and play around for however many hours it takes. It's going to have to run, let's see, that's, yeah, I forget how much that takes. It takes quite a while for that to run. But anyhow, that is going to sit there and slowly over time accumulate what it needs. I'm probably going to have to give it a little bit more power, aren't I? Well, we're gonna have to rework that a little bit. Let's see. Do I have a spare one? I do. Can I just put that on the front of that for right now? And say power out? Yes? There you go. We'll let that guy run for a little while. That'll probably chew up every little bit of RF generation that we're making. But I think at this point we're making, what, there's at least 8,000 up there plus... I forget how much down here. It should tell us. Maybe. It's kind of hard to tell. Actually, just right there. That'll tell you. That's really nutty. Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and make the Netherstar Generator then. Whoop, too far, too high. This one. Netherstar Generator. Which should require us to craft a furnace generator, and that is going to require us to craft a machine block, which is going to require us to make one of these things again. Do we still have any dye blend? I do. I have one. Okay, cool. Let's see. I may have screwed this up already, though, because I think I may be out of this stuff. Nope, we're good. Okay, let's go craft one of these really quickly. So one of these and a circuit. Thank you. That'll get that part done. I believe I left something in the... How did I do that? Again. Next step is going to be creating a wireless terminal because I'm such a lazy fool. Give me one of these, please. Thank you. Get it? I thought I had left something in this interface, but maybe I didn't. Oh, I guess everything in there contained an E. Yeah, me. Don't think you don't contain that, do you? Doot. You can get this out of your hand. We should be good to go. You guys are doing okay? How are we on pressure? Doing just decently. Bloop. Done. Thank you. Now, we should have plenty of the leftover stuff because I've already made something out of this system, so let's go ahead and do this. Netherstar Generator is going to... Nether Gen. That dude right there is going to require a furnace generator, which we should have all of that once we get to this part. Machine block. I'm out of redstone. How can I be redstone alloy? Redstone. I'm out of redstone alloy. Lovely. That's silicon? I think. Guess I don't need to have that much in there. Okay, cool. We'll let that run a second. I should have a furnace. Come on, give me 4 of those, please. Thank you. There's that. And we need a furnace gen. Furnace generator is going to be something like that. And then the use on this will be that. Sweet. Ding, ding. Alrighty then. So that should have taken care of the quantum simulation and the Netherstar generator. So that's another kind of a fun thing that we can do. I don't know where I want to put this right now. I really don't think I want to try to run it right now. Maybe what we'll do is we'll put it up here until we can think about what we want to do with it. This not going to be enough room, I don't think, to run that thing. We'll probably have to build an entire floor or section just for this for all these generators. So that may be a later on down the line thing. I think for right now we're doing okay on power, so I'm going to kind of just let that roll a little while. Once we can get this up and done and where it needs to be, we should be pretty good to go. I have no idea how much power it's going to take to run all of the models that we want to run. I mean, that one's 256. This one's... I may or may not run this one. I haven't made up my mind yet. This one for certain I think we want to run. This one for certain I think we want to run. I think we want to run this one as well. Some of these we're going to run and some of them we're not. So we'll just kind of have to see how things go. But I think for what we're looking at right now, that should be a pretty decent episode, guys. So next episode, I think we're going to start working on a room for that. It's either going to work on a room for that or we're going to start working on the automation to make that work. Because we should actually be able to craft both the iron. We can craft iron now. Pretty much, I should be able to craft iron using this recipe, and then if I take that and mix it with, let's see, no, we need to do this. Gold. Come on. I should be able to craft gold using the hellish matter and some glowstone and some this same stuff that we've got right here. So we're going to either be doing this direction or we're going to be running, maybe we'll just go ahead and run the Wither Skeleton one for now. I don't know how many of these we want to run, but I should be able to craft almost everything except the lapis, I think. So we're going to have to come up with a way to fix that problem. But for now, guys, I think that is what I'm going to go work on. I think I'm going to actually go back up here and go look at this and say happy, happy, happy. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.